Hello everyone, I'm Evan the Juggler. Welcome back to another video. Today I figured I'd show you guys a magic trick.
Alright, so like every cool magic trick, this trick involves a deck of randomly shuffled playing cards. So as you can see, they are in fact nice and mixed up. No way I could possibly remember that order. So let's choose you a card. I think you'd choose something somewhere around the middle so that it's less likely I will have an idea of where it is. Let's go with this one here, the 9 of spades. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take the 9 of spades and put it into the middle of the deck, just like that. Now, it's gone. Now this is where the cool part is. If I give the deck a shake, just like that, suddenly, hopefully, whoop, a juggling ball. Oh right, that of course is because today we're learning the tutorial 4, 2, 3. And, last but not least, was that your card? Let's hop into the tutorial.
Alright, how'd you like that intro? I had a lot of fun making it. It only took about 50 attempts thereabouts to get it right, but I think it was pretty neat. So, 4, 2, 3. Why are we learning this today? Basically because there are so many tricks that involve the same pattern, but they look so different. So, today we're going to learn 4, 2, 3, fake columns, windshield wiper, around the arm, orbit, Burkes Burrage, and of course, fake mess. In that order, 4, 2, 3 is the easiest version of all of these tricks because it is the base pattern. It is also pretty much the easiest symmetrical sight swap there is. And you don't have to do it with this isolation in the center as well, you can also do it with normal types of throws, like this here. And it still looks impressive, but my favorite way to do it is with the isolation. Alright, so how do we do it? So if you don't know 4, 2, 3 already, basically a quick rundown is to learn is you start with 2, and you get used to throwing 1 across and 1 straight up, and then you stop. Across, straight up, in that order. Cross, straight up. And of course do it on the other side. Cross, straight up. Across, straight up. Across, straight up. Now, what you do is you throw it across, straight up, across again. And then you can do it on the other side too. Now keep going like that until you get comfortable enough that the balls on the side go straight up and down like this, and the center one stays a normal height, just like this. Now, let's move on to 3. Alright, so 3, you're going to do the exact same thing, starting with the one that has 2 balls in a hand, and just go back. So it goes 1, up, across, up. Across, up, stop. Across, up, stop. Now, just keep it going. So it goes across, up, and you just don't stop. So some tips are to really focus on the center ball and make sure you're using the same one to go across each time, because the balls don't cycle in this pattern. They stay in separate orbits. So there you have it. That's a quick rundown on how to do 4, 2, 3. Now, let's move on to fake columns. So fake columns now, all you have to do is you do 2 in one hand, and as the outside one goes up, you bring the other hand up as well. Now to turn it into a 4, 2, 3 pattern, you just switch each time. So to do this, make sure that the center ball keeps switching hands. Another easy way to do it is just to do columns and practice switching hands left, right, and then work on doing fake columns in random ones. And try to get it so it's the same height and so you get comfortable with these kind of throws. Once you're comfortable with that, you've got the trick. So there you go. Fake columns, 4, 2, 3 pattern. So, now it's time for the windshield wiper. Windshield wiper looks like this, and it's essentially the exact same trick as fake columns, but what you're going to do is you're going to move your hand in this orientation instead of just going up and down. So it's a little bit faster, but you'll be able to do it. So now because it's a little bit faster, I'd suggest slowing it down a bit. So to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to do the 4, 2, 3 pattern, but with an extra beat by doing 2 balls in one hand for a little bit longer. Keep isolating the center one, and that should give you enough time to figure out how to do the windshield wiper. So what you're going to do is you can go up into fake columns, do the extra beat, and move your arm down behind the balls. So from the side, it looks like this. And now, you're going to have to speed it up. So try to do it with the normal 4-2-3 pattern. It might help to throw the balls a little bit higher as you're getting used to this motion. But when you're done, it should look pretty cool. So there you have it. Now you can do Windshield Wiper. Next, let's do around the arm. Alright, so around the arm is actually one of my favorites. I've been doing this one for years and it actually feels way cooler than it should. So all it is 4-2-3, but on the 2s, you move your arm underneath the 4s. Woohoo! So this one's a little bit harder because you have to make sure not to hit the ball. But what you're going to do is you're going to move your arm in this motion, just underneath the 4. So it goes up, across. So that's just practicing that a bit on both sides. Just so you get used to not hitting the balls. You can even do just 2 balls to get used to it. And make sure you bring your arm underneath on the 4. So now let's try to do it with the 4-2-3 pattern. So this trick's a little bit different because instead of starting up top, you're actually starting down lower. Just like that. So get used to, as the ball goes up, bring your arm to your shoulder and then straight across. Right through the balls. Don't be afraid to set up by doing 2 in one hand for a bit longer than normal, and then go underneath and switch arms, underneath, switch arms, and then try to bring it so that you can do it oops! And then try to do it so you can bring it every single time. There you go. So you can do this trick in 2 ways. You can do it with your hand barely underneath the ball, like this one here, so that the ball itself goes under the other ball. This one looks good because it's a much smaller pattern. Whereas, if you do it with under your elbow, it's a much bigger, more dramatic pattern. But they're essentially the same trick, it just depends on what kind of a look you're going for. So now, let's move on to the next trick. Time for orbit. So orbit's actually really cool because it's the exact same trick as all the other ones, what a surprise. But what you're going to do is you're going to move your arm around and behind your head. Just like that. So, to learn this trick, we're going to start with 1 ball and show you what the technique is. What we're going to do is we're going to catch the 2, bring the 2 up, so essentially you touch your ear, go behind your neck, just like this, and then back down. So, if you do it fast, it looks just like that. I definitely stress not wearing a hat for this while you're learning because you will bump it. So what we do, up, around. Try it on the other side. Whoop, see, I bumped the hat. Up and around, up and around, up and around. Now, to get used to the speed, what you can do is you can just do this trick here, but as you're waiting for the ball to come down, you bring your hand into the orbit. Now, you want them to land at the same time, just like that. And that'll teach you the speed you need for the orbit. You don't even have to go completely around your head, you just want it to be a big, dramatic motion. Alright, now, next, let's do it with the 4-2-3 pattern. You can either go straight into it or do the extra pause for each 4. So, here we go. So there you have it. That's how you do the orbit. Keep working at this, and the longer you do it, the better it'll look. Alright, time for the next trick. Alright, so now let's learn Burkes Burrage. So Burkes Burrage is essentially the same thing as around the arm, except you're bringing your hand down through the pattern like this. So these 2 balls here will be like this, and you're going to bring your hand down on a diagonal through the balls. So essentially, the 2s look like this. You bring your hand up to your shoulder and down. Up, down. Try the other hand, up, down. And you want to go between the balls. So if you do it right, it should look just like this. You don't want to go straight to your shoulder because you don't want to bump it, but it should go through the 2 balls just like that. So to do this trick, you're going to get used to doing it with crossed arms. Because as you catch the balls here, you want to bring your hand over as fast as humanly possible. So instead of catching it like this, bring it out and down, which would look like that. You want to do it as you're catching the balls. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to catch it, bring your hand over and down. Catch, down. So a way to start getting used to what the pattern looks like is to do this here. So what you're going to do is you're just going to do this, and then as the one's up, you're going to start before you throw it with your hand at your shoulder, then bring it down. Keep your palms facing upwards for this trick. There we go! Now let's do it with a 4-2-3. I usually start this one by doing cascade, and as it goes up, I bring my hand down underneath one of the threes. And as you do that, it should fall right into the pattern. If you don't quite have the pattern yet though, what I'd suggest doing is go back to under the arm, but instead of going underneath, try to bring your hands down in an X, just like this here. So under the arm looks like this with flat versus Burkes Burrage. Alright, last but not least, this is the hardest one. This is called Fake's Mess. So if you don't know, Mill's Mess is essentially the first hard trick you learn. It looks like this here, and it looks like a figure 8 pattern. Now Fake Mess, what you do, instead of doing the figure 8, is you turn it into a 4-2-3 pattern, and you move your hand underneath each time as if you're going to go into the normal Mill's Mess. So to learn this one, it is a little hard. So the first step is that we're going to do 4-2-3, but with Windshield Wiper, but slightly different. We're going to do it straight across, like this, as if you're punching the side. Once you get that, we're going to do the exact same thing, but underneath the arm. And now, you may notice it doesn't look quite right yet. That's because we haven't thrown the balls under the arm yet. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out with crossed arms, and now if your right hand's on top, your right hand is going to be the first one to go under the arm. So you're going to go right, left, under, right, left, under, left, right. You essentially want to do outside throws each time and keep switching directions. So it goes left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right. So if you start with your arms crossed, it'll help you figure out how the outside throws are supposed to look, because it's supposed to go kind of circle this way, circle that way, circle this way, circle that way. Again, it looks like this. 1, 2, under, 1, 2, under, 1, 2, under, 1, 2, under. And if you speed it up to the right speed, it should look like this. And now you notice how it's still kind of isolated, as if it's 3 separate lines of orbits. You want to make it look more like one pattern. So try to throw them with more of a hook at the end, like this here. So get used to throwing a ball like this. That'll help it look more like a figure 8 pattern. So there you have it. That is Fake Mess. Keep working at it, and hopefully eventually it'll start to look more like this here. I personally found it easier because I learned Mill's Mess first instead of Fake Mess, so it just took a little bit of rearranging in my brain to figure it out. So I would either suggest learning Mill's Mess first if this is really, really hard, or just going straight for it. Because it also, if it works easier for you, it'll help you learn Mill's Mess. So there you have it. That was the last trick today. Alright, so that was 7 whole 4-2-3 variations, if you include 4-2-3 as the original variation. And I hope you enjoyed. Those were a lot of different tricks to learn, and hopefully they'll get your mind going and trying to figure out your own 4-2-3 and variations, because 4-2-3 is one of the most fun patterns to make your own tricks with. These tricks are great because you can be as creative as you want with them. You can do under the legs, you can do behind the backs even, all kinds of stuff. Anything that gives you enough time to do it as a 2. There's just so many different things that you can possibly do. Like even just moving your hand over like this gives it such a different effect than just... So that's why I like 4-2-3. If you tried to learn some of these tricks today, and you maybe even came up with some of your own, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Evan the Juggler. And with that, sadly, we are at the end of the video. If you enjoyed these 4-2-3 patterns and variations, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Of course, you can also click here for some other really cool juggling related content. If that's not enough, You can follow me on Instagram and like my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Every single one of those hit my head.